All right, a couple more here, a little baseball here. I'm looking at some numbers, and I'm watching this guy play, and something is off. You know what I mean? In a 4-for-38 slump right now. Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers, only 4 wins in the last 12 games. Enough with the pitching sideshow. Ohtani needs to go back to hitting only, or the Dodgers not going to make the NLCS.
So you think he's not hitting well because he's pitching?
1,000%. I don't know how you could dispute that. Guy doesn't pitch for 2 years. We see 50-50 in the greatest offensive player we've ever seen. Now we're back to pitching? What is he hitting, 240?
It's just baseball, man. It happens. It just happens.
I don't know. I went to a couple games over the weekend. Didn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I hear you. I get it.
Something's off.
I know. You got Braves mania over there.
Enough with the pitching. No one cares.
That's
we're there
not
to
true.
see. We're there, yeah,
untrue. No one cares.
It is true. We're there to see you hit.
Untrue.
We're there to see you hit. We're not there to see you do something cool every 5th day. We're there to see you do something awesome every day. Let's hit.
You don't take somebody that talented and remove them from rotation ever. So, whatever.
They got enough pitching.
This is your worst take of the day.
Oh, no chance. This one is
whatever
perfect.
Else you have, I would suggest you move on to it.
Last one.
David, of course, talked a lot about the offense as of late, but when you have a game, and just looking at how today is set up, the lineup with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, your ace on the mound, going up against a pitcher and Hauser, the U.S. have seen well and got to him well. Does it feel like today could just be a really good setup for the offense and for your team to not only get back in the win column, but just to get going again?
It does. But, I'm kind of leaning towards the optimistic camp anyway. So I feel good about today. I felt good about yesterday, and we talked about that a little bit as far as kind of taking advantage of opportunities. So, I think that, we should be able to build some innings, and hopefully we can just take those at-bats that we need to in big spots. But, just kind of making my way around the clubhouse today. Guys feel good. And I know, Yoshinobu has been good. But, the last few outings, I think that he's expecting more from himself. So I think that today's one of those nights that he's going to kind of come out with a little bit more, even more motivation than he typically has.
But the conversations that you're having with some of these guys, can you just shed light on what you're sharing with them? Because even Max Muncy last night was saying how the veterans and the guys that are coming together right now, they don't take this, whether it's these 3-game losing streak or struggling right now, they don't take it lightly, and they are having those conversations. What are the conversations that you're having with guys right now?
I think that's kind of similar. I think there's always, certainly with hitting, it's hard. You don't want to hear that panic word when guys aren't hitting. But I do think that there's a standard on expectations, and I don't think that status quo and ho-hum is the way to go either. So I think that for me, just feeling like our guys understand that we do need to get better. We are not performing up to our expectations. And then you sort of kind of wait and see how things play out. And that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting with the guys. So that's a good thing. The work's been consistent. And the expectation for it to turn, is important too.
Would urgency be kind of the right word to use, even at this kind of early point of the season, just you guys are trying to get out of this?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, urgency is always, I just think it's always a good thing. I really do. And then, people run from urgency because it's hard to sustain it. But that kind of mindset I think it's healthy, and I think that, we can sustain it. But then it's, every at-bat, every pitch, every situation, they've got to be important. But yeah, that's a good word.
Do you have what the plan for Shohei will be this week?
I haven't decided, So I do know he's not going to hit on Thursday. I do know that. And then as far as tomorrow, I haven't decided yet. Probably leaning towards not having him hit tomorrow.
Is that going to depend on how he looks tonight?
Not really. I think that it's just more of just kind of thinking that it might just be a good thing to take a little bit of a load off of his plate offensively. So, but I haven't made that decision. Maybe some of it is affected by tonight, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably leaning towards not having him hit for the next two days.
As you're weighing it, just what do you see as the biggest pros versus cons?
I think that the pros are, taking the hitting part off his plate, letting his body recover a little bit as far as being a two-way player for a couple of days, playing more the longer view, potentially giving him a reset on the offensive side. The cons is just not being able to write his name in the lineup at the top of the order.
Yeah, his exit velocity is down a little bit on average since he got hit in the shoulder, but I know he's well since then. Can that play any factor into just kind of not getting as much bat speed as he's used to?
It can. I don't know how much of an effect is carrying over to now. I'm not, as far as the exit velocity, he's catching the ball deeper in some instances on balls that are at the belt, catching the ball out front on balls that are down below and spin. So that's sort of a bad combo and kind of makes sense with the lack of exit velo. I don't know the swing speed, what that is. But again, I haven't heard anything from that point over since a couple of days after he got hit, so I don't know how much of an effect that is.
Dave, from a manager's perspective, especially with your veterans, you try to give them as long of a leash as possible to get right. But for you, when do you make the decision with Shohei that this might be the time? What do you see?
I think that, for me, when any hitter starts, the quality of at bat starts to go down consistently. I think that's a sign that there needs to be a break. Because you're just not able to kind of, whether it's the mechanics, the mind, just to kind of stay within your plan, your game plan, and then the chase starts to spike. There's a workload component with some players, but that more on the defensive side. With Shohei in particular, I think that when I see him start to kind of chase a lot more, and also given with, we didn't build him up to 6 innings till September last year. And so now to start there in April, first week of April, that's a lot. And so he's still calibrating on this kind of newfound two-way player in today's day, right? Not 5 years ago, whatever it is. So I think that I just can't take for granted what's on his plate. And so I'm trying to be sensitive to that.
We've talked a lot about how he's looked to manage returning Shohei duties, but this is the first time that you have had him as a full two-way player. What are you learning about this process?
I'm learning that you have to be proactive because he's always going to want to do more. He's always he has that responsibility, that sense of responsibility to his teammates, that he wants to be out there on both ways, right? And so I think that I've learned that I have to be proactive and take it out of his hands, like most great players.
Should I give him a full day off Thursday, or could he come off the bench?
I would say on Thursday, he's not going to DH, but he'll be available late if the game is in the balance.
Do you see any signs of anything going on with him physically, or is it just a kind of basic fatigue, that wall that you're kind of hitting on, or is it more almost a mental thing of just trying to balance both at the same time?
I think the fatigue is bleeding into the mechanics. I think that most players, get that towards the end of the summer, and now I'm learning as managing Shohei, it's probably shown itself a little earlier as far as the tax on pitching and all that comes with it to the hitting too.
How do you like Shohei to use that full day off on Thursday, given that he's not really used to taking a day like this?
I would say show up late, start his day much later, build up, R&R, but then as the game goes on, start kind of reading the scoreboard and seeing if the situation potentially could arise to then how do you prepare for that spot potentially.
You guys talked in spring training, kind of knowing that this was going to be like the added difficulties were going to go into what he was doing this year. Is it fair to say it's been more challenging to kind of for both him and you guys to balance to this point? And does it still feel as sustainable as it did coming into the year to have him do this the whole season?
It definitely feels sustainable. I wouldn't say it's more difficult. I think that we all came in knowing that we had to read and react. It was going to be fluid. It should be. It's very unique. I think we're still in early May, so kind of how we kind of manage it is still, we have an opportunity to kind of do things the way we feel best for him. So no one thought it was going to be easy, and no one thought it was going to be linear. So this is kind of in line, and you just really didn't know, to be quite honest.
Has he expressed that he's dealing with sort of fatigue or anything like that?
No, he's just more of like, whatever we need as a Dodgers, he's willing to do whatever we need, which is the right answer for a player.
When did you talk to him about this?
Yesterday, today.
Is the hope like when he gets his swing mechanics approach kind of back where he wants it, it's going to be easier to kind of navigate this moving forward? Because like he's talked about, like when his swing gets off, that's where when he's pitching more, it's like there's the added difficulty of just like the time balance of everything. Is it part of what you're hoping kind of gets reset here?
Yeah. I think that, the mechanics, a lot of times mechanics is a result of fatigue, injury, an experience with a pitcher that you don't want to get jammed and you start kind of cheating, and those things kind of affect your mechanics going forward. So I think in this particular case, it's the load of thinking about the pitching, which he's used to, but also the load on the pitching side as far as the tax on the body. So I think that giving him 1 day for sure, potentially 2 days to reset the body and the mind, I think there's only upside.
And
Last one, guys.
Outside of the fatigue, there's nothing more serious physically he's dealing with?
No, not at all.
If you got Alex Thomas earlier, what do you see him doing for this team?
A really good defender. Really good kid. I like the way he plays. We've seen him a lot, obviously, from the other side. Not sure what our plans are for him. I know that he has some options, so our expectation is that we'd have him in the organization, kind of do a deep dive on his swing and try to figure out if there's some things that we can unlock. And then, if the opportunity presents itself to, get him up here. But we've always liked him, thought very well of him.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, yeah.